Previously in Shadows of the South.
Water unnaturally still. No movement calling your name. Something is watching. Too late.
In the rivers of Brazil, there are places where the water becomes unnaturally still. No ripples, no movement, just silence. And sometimes just beneath the surface, something is watching, waiting. And if you hear a voice calling your name, it may already be too late. This legend is called Iara.
Shadows of the South.
Deep within the vast river systems of Brazil, especially in the Amazon, there is a legend that has been told for generations. It is a story about beauty, about mystery, and about danger hidden beneath calm waters. The legend speaks of a being known as Iara, often described as a woman of extraordinary beauty. Iara is said to live within rivers, lakes, and hidden waterways. She is not a creature that hunts with force. She does not chase. She does not attack in the way most predators do. Instead, she waits, and she calls. The origins of Iara's story come from indigenous traditions, long before colonial influence reached Brazil. In the earliest versions, Iara was not always a supernatural being. She was once human, a young woman known for her strength and independence. In some versions of the legend, she was a warrior, stronger than her brothers, more skilled in combat, but her strength created jealousy, and that jealousy led to betrayal. One night, her own family turned against her. Fearing her power, they tried to take her life, but Iara fought back, and in the struggle she defeated those who attacked her. For this, she was punished. According to the legend, she was thrown into a river and left to die. But the river did not take her life, it transformed her. As her body sank into the water, something changed. The river became part of her. Or perhaps she became part of the river. Her human form was altered, her legs disappeared, replaced by a long, powerful tail. Her senses sharpened, her voice changed. No longer just human, it became something else, something more persuasive. When she emerged again, she was no longer the woman she had once been. She had become Iara, a being tied to the water itself. What makes Iara truly dangerous is not her appearance, it is her voice. According to the legend, Iara sings, not loudly, not aggressively, but softly, a melody carried by the wind across the water. At first, the sound seems distant, almost impossible to locate. But as the listener pays attention, the sound becomes clearer, closer, more personal, until eventually it no longer feels like a song. It feels like a voice calling directly to you. Many stories describe fishermen sitting quietly by the river when they first hear it, a soft sound drifting through the air. They look around, nothing, only water. Then the sound returns, and this time it feels closer. The legend says that once someone begins listening, it becomes difficult to stop. The voice becomes familiar, comforting, as if it understands something deep within the listener, something hidden, something personal. And slowly, without realizing it, the person begins to move, step by step, closer to the water. When Iara reveals herself, Witnesses describe her as impossibly beautiful. Long dark hair, pale skin illuminated by moonlight, eyes that reflect the surface of the river. But there is always something slightly unnatural, something that does not belong. Sometimes it is the stillness of her movement. Sometimes it is the way her eyes seem to hold no reflection. And sometimes it is simply the feeling that something is wrong, even when everything appears perfect. According to the legend, once Iara captures someone's attention completely, there is no struggle, no violence. The person simply follows, drawn toward the water as if guided by an invisible force. Some stories say the victim walks directly into the river. Others claim Iara pulls them beneath the surface. But what happens after that is uncertain. In some versions, the person never returns. In others, they reappear days later, alive, but changed. Stories about Iara are most common in regions where rivers dominate the landscape. Fishermen working alone at night, travelers crossing water routes, villagers living near isolated riverbanks. Many of these people share similar experiences, hearing a voice when no one is there, seeing movement beneath the surface, or feeling an unexplainable urge to approach the water. Even in modern times, these reports continue. Though often dismissed as imagination, fatigue, or natural sounds carried by the wind, the consistency of the stories remains striking. In many ways, the legend of Iara reflects something deeper about rivers themselves. Rivers can appear calm, peaceful, still, yet beneath the surface they are powerful, unpredictable, capable of pulling even the strongest swimmer under. The story of Iara transforms this natural danger into something human, something intentional, a presence that chooses, that waits, that watches. Over time, Iara became more than just a legend. She became a symbol, a representation of temptation, of the unknown, of beauty that hides danger. In this sense, the story serves as a warning, not just about rivers, but about the idea that not everything that seems inviting is safe. Some things call to us not because they care, but because they want us to come closer. Today, the story of Iara continues to exist in Brazilian culture. It appears in books, stories, and local traditions. Yet in remote areas where the forest still surrounds vast stretches of water, some people remain cautious. Because even now, there are moments when the river becomes too still, too quiet. Moments when the wind stops moving, and the surface of the water reflects nothing at all. In those moments, some people say it is better not to listen, not to look too closely, and above all, not to answer if something calls. The legend of Iara has survived for generations, not because it is loud or violent, but because it is subtle. It speaks to something quiet, something personal. The idea that danger does not always arrive with force. Sometimes it invites, sometimes it waits, and sometimes it simply calls your name and waits for you to respond. So if you ever find yourself near a river at night and the water becomes completely still, listen carefully. Because if you hear something calling from beneath the surface, it may not be the wind, and it may not be your imagination. It may be something that has been waiting far longer than you realize.
Next episode. of the South.
Animals, predator, struggle. Sightings have continued. Creature without blood.